Hello everyone, and welcome to Straight Chilling. Each week we watch and review a horror film for your entertainment. You can send all questions and comments to straightchillingpodcast@gmail.com, and don't forget to keep chilling.
Yeah, we straight chillin', serial killing. 5 cold villains on the mic, got you reeling. 5-star ratings from the floor to the ceiling. If you get your 1 star, no time for feelings. Got a demon DJ, all the 1s and 2s. By the name of Elsa, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast them all with 2. And prepare to hear the legend of the straight chillin' crew.
What up, nerds? Welcome to a very, very literary episode of Straight Chilling. My name's Bob, and I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode number 227, recorded Sunday, August 11th, 2019. Tonight, we're going to be talking about that new Andre Ovredal joint, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Before we get down to it, let me introduce everyone else on the show tonight. First up, calling in from kind of Chicago, Randy Gandy G. Landy.
Hello, Mr. Torrance.
That's a tall drink you got there.
Pouring it tall, Randy.
Nice and tall.
I've got work to do, and that work involves me being inebriated.
Very good. Very good, sir. Also calling in from kind of Chicago, Becky. What's up, Becky?
How y'all doing?
Doing
Dr.
fine.
Now.
Fine and dandy.
Bex, you got a nice new disco ball to have some fun with. How's that going?
It's pretty groovy.
Yeah.
So,
Randy sent a picture of his new place. YouTube exclusive.
YouTube exclusive.
That's your bedroom, right? That's right above the bed.
That's where the magic happens.
No, we sleep in the others too, like refrigerator rooms. We sleep in one.
The details aren't important. Yes, that's where the sex is had.
Or not.
last but not least, calling in from Southern Korea, we got our boy Soju. What's up?
What up? It's your boy. Scariest angel, get in the dark.
Ugh. That sounds very Jeff Epstein-y.
Oh boy. Going top over there.
Man,
Whoa, I'm not Bob over here.
there's a lot to unpack. I don't know what that means exactly, but I don't
Let's
appreciate
not
it.
find out is the answer to the question.
So if you're watching us on YouTube, I think we should probably go ahead and bring up the fact that Andy and Becky are calling in from their very own home bar. What the hell?
Whoa.
What the hell's going
That's
on?
accurate.
YouTube exclusive. Good to watch Randy pour his drinks. Man, you got it
They
set
have
up
the
nice
best
back there.
Yeah.
You know, they have the best bartender here. His name's Lloyd. Good guy. He's one of the best of them. You know,
Y'all want to
Thank you.
know what I'm drinking?
What are you drinking,
sure.
Bob?
is it at a bar? No.
It's official.
I couldn't even see that you're drinking anything.
Pumpkin has been released, mother truckers. I'm loving it.
Oh,
It's early for
spooky
that.
season.
I mean, it does not seem too early for that. You're in the wrong. You're on the
Also,
wrong
we're talking
podcast.
about a movie in which like a large portion takes place on Halloween.
Fact.
So it is spooky season.
Halloween
I'm
stores are
considering
open.
this a kickoff.
Football has started. Bam.
Yeah.
Spooky season.
It's that time
Has
of the
it?
year.
Yeah. It sure is.
Not paying attention to that.
Show enough is. So let's go ahead and get rid of some of this housekeeping stuff real quick. Just a quick reminder, our September poll pick is posted on our Patreon website. If you support us at the $5 level or above, you can vote on a movie we're going to talk about next month. The theme of the movies for next month is going to be witches. And the movies...
You're gonna have to literally repeat that because it was not. It was garbled nonsense.
Oh,
It's
witches.
Witches. Oh, I thought you said wages. Like
For the
minimum
hearing
wages.
impaired and people with normal ears, that's witches.
Witches, yes.
With
The mo-
2 V's, of course.
Witches.
always. The movies
Them
you,
bitches.
you can vote between on Patreon are Haxan, The Craft, and The Witches.
How those numbers looking, Bob?
Last I looked, The Craft and The Witches were in a dead heat, and Haxan was falling behind. So
What a shame.
Okay.
get your
I
votes
think
in.
I remember what I picked now. Last week I could not recall what my pick was.
I remember watching you sweat, and it was very enjoyable.
I do remember now which one I picked.
Yeah. We have glorious news. We got a new Patreon supporter this week. We got to give a quick shout outs to.
Shout outs.
Yeah. Big thanks to Mr. Andrew Gilly from Horrorphoria podcast.
Ooh, thanks, my guy.
Yeah, my
Thanks,
guy.
Andrew.
And we got to do it. We got to give him the straight chilling salute officially.
Dude, let's do the salute.
Here's looking
on
at you.
YouTube. Here we go.
Slap my ass! Slap my ass! Slap my ass!
Yes, slap my ass. Slap me in the ass. Yeah, if you're wanting to check out some Horrorphoria podcast, I was lucky enough to be a guest on there not too long ago, and we talked about
Hollywood Bob over there.
We talked about Vinegar Syndrome releases, and I'm going to be back on there in a couple weeks as well, and I think we're going to talk about just like B movies, or like the best of the worst, or the worst of the best, however you want to define it. B movies. So
I can't make that cut.
I mean, there's no way it doesn't.
yeah, it's so
Sounds
good.
like you're gonna get way down in the hole there, Bob.
Oh,
Yes.
we down.
Where's that podcast based out of?
I forget exactly what state, but they're in the Midwest somewhere for sure.
So you're not right.
Come say hey, Andrew.
Yeah, we're
Come
here.
to our bar.
We
Yeah,
have a bar.
I want to say like Wisconsin. I'm not. I'd have to double check.
I
that.
think you're right. I think it is Wisconsin.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
was thinking.
That's cool.
Well, God bless you, boys.
yeah, Wisconsin. Juice, we got any YouTube or Twitch news?
Yeah, let's talk a little housekeeping. We are playing a new game for the month. It's called Hello Neighbor on Twitch, twitch.tv/Straight Chillin' Podcast. It's pretty cool. Somebody bailed my ass out, and I would like to give some real appreciation for that. And it's hard too, because we have the Slack, we have like Instagram handles, we have like Facebook and stuff like that. So I'm not exactly sure who this is, but they bailed me out hard on this game. I was having a hard time like figuring out the puzzles, because essentially it's like a Disturbia where your neighbor committed like a murder. You have to break into their house and like discover like what they did. And so I could not break into this dude's house. Like I could not do it. I couldn't figure out how. And they were like helping me out and stuff like that. And
Classic Disturbia.
Classic.
Vintage
but
Disturbia.
it was fun. I think I'm already maybe about halfway through. I think it's like a shorter game. And I said if we finished up early, that maybe we would hop back on some Friday the 13th. So maybe I can knock that out this week. I'm going to have an altar time again. I'll do it at 7 p.m. instead of 8 on Monday night, because I'm still on that summer schedule. But I think this is the last week. So tune in, watch us live, help bail my ass out. If not, you can check it out on the YouTubes as well, youtube.com/Straight Chilling Podcast. I also wanted to give a personal PSA, because this happened, and it's been happening, and I've been feeling bad about it. So I came up with a solution. So we have our collective Straight Chilling, like Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. But sometimes I'll comment on it, and then people will like hit me up personally, like, "Oh, I want to be your friend," and I appreciate that. I would love to like talk to you guys personally, but at the same time, I like have pictures of my niece and nephew and like my family on my shit. So I was like, okay. So I made all that private, because it started to make me feel kind of weird. And so I made a separate personal Instagram handle, like to participate with people.
This right here. This is an explain a brag about how Juice getting too goddamn big for his britches.
No, I just like, I feel like people have been like wanting to like talk to me, and like I've just started. I like moved everything to private, and I felt bad because I just started like ignoring like friend requests, and I'm like, oh shit. So, or like let me follow you requests. So if you would like to interact with me on a personal level, I've been feeling bad about it, and I came up with a personal or a solution. I just made a separate Instagram. I do not use Twitter. I'm not going to make a separate Facebook. So if you want to interact with me personally, I just made a separate one called @JustinAbroad. So if you want to talk to me there, I don't.
That really sounds like you're transitioning and you have a new account.
Oh yeah, So
Transition stains.
Some little housekeeping news here.
But no, I just it's been happening, and I moved everything over probably a few months ago to private, and I just they've been stacking up the friend requested stuff. And
Stacking up. Oh, okay.
So,
oh God, can you hear the big dick swinging? Because I can. It sounds like a helicopter rotor.
I came out with a solution. I don't know. It felt weird. I got like little kids running around my Instagrams and stuff.
Well, all right. The Jeff Epstein thing holds.
Making fun stain for the middle of the night.
Damn it.
Yeah. So little personal housekeeping there.
Cool. On a lighter note, just a quick reminder, we're going to have a table at GAM here in Jacksonville, Florida, which is the Game Arts and Music event that happens every year. It's going to be next Saturday. I believe it's from 6 to 10. So if you're in Jacksonville or around Jacksonville, swing through GAM and say hi. We're going to have a table with all of our posters and stickers and buttons and all that fun stuff for sale, and we'll be chatting all things horror. So definitely come hang out with us there. And also, Randy, I do believe we've got a T-shirt design announcement. Is that right?
Yes.
What?
For fuck's sake. You fuckers chipped away at my resolve, and there's nothing left. So
You've had the reminder on your phone for literally a whole year. It says make a sand.
yeah, it's let me see. It's 265 days or something.
Make a
303 days now.
Make a sand Tanic t-shirt.
Yeah, but that's not the one I meant. So,
That's not even the one that was made.
it was a Siri recorded reminder, so it is not accurate.
But it's been there for so long.
It's been there for 303 days.
Titanic.
But that is not the shirt I made. We have made a shirt representing the weirdest catchphrase that we have buzzed along, which is "hard with us." The hard with us,
Hard with us.
which is now available on tpublic.com. We will be sharing out a few links for that as
How do you
well.
use that in a
What?
hard
It's
with
like,
us?
are you hard with us,
Bro.
It's
bro?
Mean
Are you a poser?
Loyal.
Or are you hard?
You fucking poser.
Like hard 'cause
Are
you
you
like it,
hashtag
somebody
hard
else.
with us?
Are you hard with us? You gotta get hard with us.
This loser's not even hard with us.
I want to buy a shirt, but
This shirt is gonna sell like syphilis.
Dude, the design is awesome. I love the color scheme.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I'm
bullshit.
pretty happy with it, except for the fact that it says one of our dumb catchphrases. So, boy, populous.
Yeah, it's like
Dude,
a
our yearly
Frankenstein
t-shirt.
hand that's doing the devil horns. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a zombie devil horns hand.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
it's a
it's
classic.
awesome.
It's a classic Disturbia.
Do you want to know a fun fact about the devil horn real quick?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tell me a fun fact. Beck.
Well, this, is it that? Is that it?
It's this.
That's
This
I
is-
love you.
Oh.
You put your
This
thumb
is
in.
Isle of Satan.
In Florida, there's the University of South Florida, and that's their little sign for the
Oh.
Bulls. And I was
And
at
the
band
Longhorns.
camp at USF one summer in high school, and they taught us that, and we were all doing it. And there was a group of kids who wouldn't do it because it signified the devil.
Aww.
And they
Oh.
raised a bunch of
Now they're avid straight chilling listeners.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cheers.
Now they're hard with
Now
us.
they're hard with us.
Very intense.
You know, if you're soft as a kid, you're definitely gonna be hard with us as adults. So
If you're soft as a kid.
it's a fact.
We really got to
I
get
was a
off
pretty soft kid.
this whole pedophilia joke thing that's been,
I know. I did too.
rough.
I was gonna. I had
It's
a really
rough.
good one, but I just decided not to.
Yeah. You know,
yeah.
we'll feast around the edges of that fucked up little trough.
Yeah. You definitely let it be known you want to be hard with us. The last thing you want to do is be hard without us. Okay. That's the last thing you want to do.
That's in divorce paperwork somewhere out there.
Oh,
I couldn't be
yes.
hard without
I could not
straight chilling.
be hard with anyone but straight chilling, and now my marriage fell apart. That's the
And
future
now-
of everyone listening.
I think our last T-shirt came out last Halloween spooky season. It was the it was the orange jack-o'-lantern. So hey,
It was nearly a year.
yearly T-shirt.
I'm
There we
living
go.
up to the baseline level goal of one.
Thank you, Randy.
So, hey, I expect awards for this shit.
They're coming at you.
Also, we have a new video game review up on YouTube. Finally
Nice.
reviewed Inside from April, talking about being late on shit. So that's up. And then I got a new one dropping this week for Bindi and the Ink Machine. We all know how much I love that.
Ooh. I really want to hear your thoughts because I didn't finish that game, but apparently it gets a lot harder than what I saw.
Yeah. Well, it's dropping this week, Randy, so I'm trying to catch up on that. That was May's game, so I'm getting close. And then there's Layers of Fear, Friday the 13th, and now I'm doing Hello Neighbor. So I'll catch up soon on the video game reviews. So thanks for checking that out and liking us. Our YouTube is bumping. We're getting, I think, like close to 250 now. I think we just started last year recording videos, so we appreciate you guys. Thanks.
I love you, Juice. You're so ready to talk brass tacks with our listeners. Talk about how many people love us.
Numbers don't lie. But if you are interested in picking up one of our new shirts, I'll make sure to include a link to our store in the show notes on this episode, and also there's a link to our store on our website. But it's a TeePublic storefront, so you can get that on a shirt, get it on a sticker, get it on a coffee mug, whatever you want,
condom.
Get on a
condom.
Hashtag hard with us.
That would make harass TeePublic until they offer a condom version of my design.
That would be dope.
Be quite literally hard with us.
Sweet novelty item.
Becky. That exists.
I could not hear what you said, Becky. But
it does not matter.
That you can make that thing into like a dildo that goes up.
Oh
and down.
Yeah.
This is the merchandising brain we need.
Oh, this is probably going to be one of our
level merchandising.
One of our best YouTube episodes. Anyway,
this is still just housekeeping.
Yeah, it is. I think that's everything. I think
I'm
that's
on
everything.
my second drink, so whatever.
Holy shit! We are like 15 minutes in. We got
thirsty.
We got more cool stuff coming down the pike, but that's happening a little bit later. For right now, that's it for housekeeping. Let's get into what we've been watching.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
Randy, what have you been watching?
Let's see. What have I been watching? Well, Becky and I have tried and so far failed to finish Hagazusa because we watch it together. Because Becky likes to go to bed at a reasonable hour and I do not.
Right.
We kind of like interrupted ourselves with that and haven't gotten back to it. What else did we watch? We watched
that Will Ferrell movie.
Yeah, we watched Stranger Than Fiction, which I hadn't seen since theaters, and I kind of liked, despite being a little schmaltzy. It was kind of what you were looking for, is like a romantic No, it wasn't. Okay, well, I misread that situation real bad. But we watched it, so we watched it. Let's see what else. I've been watching a lot of.
Oh, we watched that one movie a few nights ago, the one about the train.
Oh yeah, we watched Snowpiercer. I'd never seen Snowpiercer.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I heard a wild internet wildfire theory about it being a sequel to Willy Wonka, and I was like, well, I can't ignore that.
Cool.
So I watched it, and it was great. It was actually a fun fucking action movie. I really enjoyed it. Whether or not that theory holds water is to the eye of the beholder. But
I'll interrupt though, because during the movie,
that's true.
I thought of Willy Wonka a couple times, and then later Andy's like, "Oh, it's supposed to be a post Willy Wonka thing," and I was like, I totally felt that vibe, which was weird.
You did. You kind of called it, but not in the direct way. And I don't know. It was a good fucking movie though. Like Chris Evans, kind of nailing it on all fronts, in my opinion. Like with Knives Out coming out too, he looks great in that. Like he's the standout in that trailer. Anyway, I'm excited to see more of that shit. But Snowpiercer was pretty good.
A good dude too.
Yeah, I agree.
He's Captain America. I mean, come on.
I mean, it would be real simple for Captain America to be terrible. But fortunately, we're not in that reality.
Cool.
That's all, really. We've been watching Last Man on Earth again because Becky hasn't seen it yet, and I'm making her.
Nice. Becky, you been watching anything else?
I've been trying to get through the last season of Orange is the New Black. Mm-hmm. I think more than halfway through it. It's pretty good. It definitely needs to end, so it's kind of interesting to see where it goes. It's still funny. Two of the actresses are the directors now. So whoever was, I think Jinji Khan.
Jinji Khan created the show.
Oh, okay. Well, someone used to be the director in this last season, Natasha Lyonne and whoever is from that 90s show, that lady.
Oh, that 70s show.
Yeah, whatever that 90s show.
That 90s show. Such a babe.
I've never seen it.
It was a very 90s show about the 70s.
Well, she's also the director. So it's good. I like it. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Cool.
Right on.
Not much.
Juice, what you been watching?
Bob, I watched something that made me think of you. It's a little movie called Creep 2.
Oh man, first time?
First time. We're working just a little tease on some future stuff that we're not going to talk about housekeeping, but we're working on this list, and Creep 2 is on there. So I'm trying to work through. I'm not going to tell you what the list is for or what it's about, but Creep 2.
Just couldn't let it go.
Tease.
But 2 is on there. I want to work through as much of the list as I could, so I watched that one, and I think I liked it probably better than the first one.
Hell yeah.
I think
it's much better.
Not by like a lot. I actually thought it was like pretty consistent. I thought it took like maybe some of the smaller problems I had with the first one and like improved them. Like the opening of that movie is like really cool, and they kind of like stylize it a little bit more, like with the credits that they do and stuff like that. So it seemed like they were maybe a little more aware and maybe a little more like kind of surprised by the success of maybe the first one and kind of like took it a little more seriously. Maybe, I don't know. So yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good. Fucking Duplass swinging dog.
So much dog. So much.
Have you seen it, Randy?
For guts, I guess. I have seen it. Yeah.
Just straight up. That shit was cracking me up.
I'm not sure if I like the second one better or the first one better. I really haven't given it much thought, but the second one is like the character that you attach yourself to, the protagonist of that movie, is a lot easier to swallow in general. She's a lot more relatable.
Agreed.
Yeah. So I watched that one, and I think that's pretty much all I've been watching. But yeah, Creep 2. Yeah, pretty good.
Dan. I watched a couple John Carpenter movies that I hadn't seen before. So I watched his most...
working through the catalog, right?
I have been, yeah.
You're doing this director thing, like you're just going through the directors, aren't you?
Yeah, because you're going through Lynch and stuff, too.
Yeah, did you finish Lynch?
No, I haven't seen everything Lynch did.
I was going to say, if you had, you have seen more than me, for sure.
No, definitely not. I watched like 3 or 4 Lynch movies, and then I'm kind of taking a break, and then I'm going to eventually go back and watch Dune. I still haven't watched that yet, but that movie's like 2.5 hours long. It just seems like a lot.
It is a long movie.
But I watched The Ward, which is John Carpenter's most recent movie. It's from like 2010, I think. It's pretty simple about this girl that kind of goes crazy, and she gets thrown into a psych ward, and she's like going through therapy and stuff. And you kind of have hints that there's like some electroshock therapy stuff going on, and there's like this ghosty going around that's killing her friends, and it's not particularly great. As far as like Carpenter movies goes, it's probably pretty close to the bottom for me, but it's got kind of an interesting little spin on this, like very straightforward, like this girl's crazy. I mean, we can't really trust what she's saying. It's like, it's all
Bob,
right. It's all right. Huh?
That sounds like some apologist talk. Is that like just because you respect the director, or is that your real feelings about the movie?
No, yeah, it did a thing, and I was like, oh, I did not expect that thing.
Okay.
But if it wasn't for that one thing, I don't know that I'd have much positive to say.
All right. Well, that's what I'm looking for. The honesty.
Yeah. I also watched...
We're honest. We're not fake news here at Straight Chilling.
We're not.
Cheers.
We're bullshit news. I watched Escape from L.A. for the first time. Have you guys ever seen that shit?
No, I've seen Escape from New York, but not L.A.
That with The Rock? Wait.
No. Escape from L.A. was like an unloved sequel to Escape from New York.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought it was that one where the Rocky's like flying around in a helicopter while the city is like disintegrating below him. Never mind.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That is.
No, it's
like a disaster movie. I don't know.
It's got Kurt Russell in it, just like Escape from New York. But it's like a sequel, like that came out 15 years after Escape from New York. It's like 1991, Damn. I want to say. Something like that. No, not 96. I think it's 1996. I'd never seen this before, and it's like so dumb. It's just like so dumb. It's crazy.
I really thought Kurt Russell would be taller. I really did.
Yeah.
Just thought he'd be a taller guy.
But I kind of enjoyed the hell out of it. Like the CG work in it is just some of the worst I've ever seen in any movie. It's so bad, but it's like just reveling in how stupid it is. It knows how dumb it is, and it's just cool to watch Kurt Russell be Kurt Russell and like not really care about anything. It's just there's a young Steve Buscemi in it too, which is pretty cool.
Wait, what year was it? 96?
96, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked it. I had a good time with it. It's not particularly like good, I guess, but it's very enjoyable. I found it to be enjoyable anyways. And also watched the entire season 3 of Glow, and that show is just fucking enjoyable. So watch it. Watch it. And that's
okay.
That's all I got. Let's get into the main event and talk about scary stories to tell in the dark.
Ooh.
Yes.
I just got a notification from Zoom that we might have a 40-minute limit.
Oh, shit. That is problematic, isn't it?
It said it just got upgraded.
It said we gave you a free gift. We got rid of that, but for future, so I think we'll be good.
Oh, okay.
So everyone, we've been making some changes around Straight Chilling, and now we are on Zoom instead of Skype, and we are learning the ropes. Obviously.
I went, oh shit.
We might have like a $50 bill by the end of this episode, but we'll figure it out.
That's a Patreon.
That's what Patreon's for. Please support us on Patreon.
Learning. I'm going to screen grab what you just did, Randy, and I'm going to make that a fucking t-shirt because it's great.
Okay. You can make t-shirts, motherfucker.
You're
holding out on people.
Your face, my shirt. Let's go ahead and get into the main event. Kick it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
What is on the back of the box? All right, ladies and gents, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, 2019. This movie was directed by Andre Ovredal and produced by Guillermo Del Toro. The synopsis is as follows. Based on the children's book series from 1981 to 1991, this anthology film adaptation brings Alvin Schwartz's stories and Stephen Gammell's horrific illustrations to life. Directed by Andre Ovredal, The Autopsy of Jane Doe and Troll Hunter, and produced by Guillermo Del Toro, The Shape of Water, Pan's Labyrinth, a group of teens find a book of short horror stories that seem to be coming to life. They must face their fears in order to survive this literary nightmare.
Ooh.
Spooky. So
spooked.
We all definitely knew that this was coming up because we've been talking about it in the news and stuff. When you guys were cheerins, had you like read the books? Were you familiar with the books?
Children? When we were children?
Yes. When you were kids.
Yeah.
Tiny little tykes. Were you familiar with the books?
Read this one.
And would you recommend people check this movie out in the theater? Juice, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, I was familiar with these books. This was like the hot shit back in the day. Man, I don't know. Like, you gotta like wonder like this new generation of like horror fans because dude, we had like Goosebumps, we had Scary Stories Telling Dying, we had like a lot of like good like kid horror stuff going on, you know, back in the day because I had like the Goosebumps and this and everything. So I knew this was coming out and I was glad that Del Toro was attached to it because a lot of things about that book was like the illustrations, you know, that really brought that book to life. So I thought, you know, with this movie, bringing that to life with these like creature designs would like be as like important, I think, kind of transferring that over. So, yeah, I think that they did a pretty good job. Even I feel like even if you're not like closely attached to the book, like you'd enjoy this. It starts off at Halloween, so it's good getting into the spooky season. I think it's a great movie for like kids getting into the horror genre too, like maybe around that like 12, 13-year-old like age or whatever, kind of getting into horror. Thought it kind of captured that feeling really well, and I definitely think it's something you should check out in the theater. I mostly enjoyed it.
Cool. Randy, what about you?
I mean, yeah, I definitely owned all of these books growing up. And I mean, if I'm being honest, it's probably one of the things that pushed me towards art because the artwork in that book was so fucking pivotal to my enjoyment of it. the stories, I don't remember any specific stories, but I can imagine the artwork. Just
yeah, man.
Without a thought, not to say anything wrong, anything bad about I forget the writer's name. This is not going well for him, but but yeah, no, like those are the things that that stuck with me were the illustrations, and because Del Toro was attached, and because Del Toro has such a stylistic flair of his own, I knew that he would see the value in that as well. So that is what allowed me to be excited about this. Otherwise, I would have probably seen this as a quick cash grab and not really thought much about it. But that allowed me to be excited about it, honestly. And Andre Ovredal, like I really do love the Autopsy of Jane Doe. I have not seen Troll Hunter yet, in my to my shame.
Oh damn, dude! Yeah, Troll Hunter is dope.
Apparently, but I have not seen it, and I was ready for this movie to be. It could have gone several ways, because the thing is, like I said, the thing I liked about the books is that it was like those illustrations really stuck with me. The stories really didn't, and I kind of was hoping that would be the case, or better. Like that was like my baseline. It's like, okay, well, if they get the visuals right and not the story, then I will enjoy myself, and that'll live up to the promise of the books to me. So, and in that respect, I think this movie does live up to its promise. And I think that, like with some complaints forthcoming, but for the most part, I think it's a fucking great movie, especially for what you said, Justin, for kids sort of getting into the horror genre. This is the kind of movie where, like, if I knew about it when I was 9, the kids who were like 11 were watching it, and I was jealous of them. Like that's how I think about this movie after watching it. And I definitely recommend it if you grew up in that era, if you are familiar with the books. If you're not, I recommend it sort of loosely as sort of like a I think it's a nice spooky season kickoff, because like Justin said early on, like it's got a nice Halloween section right at the beginning, and it really, really resonated with me. I was excited for that part. So, I mean, I think it's worthwhile, and I think the visuals stand up, and I think you should watch it. Really, in general, I think you should watch it.
Cool. Becky, what about you?
I never read the books growing up, so I like knew about them, but I never read them. I liked more of like the Fear Street books. That's what I liked as a kid. More of the real life horror, even though most of it wasn't real. But
they're making movies out of that too.
Whoa!
Yeah,
a trilogy.
That's the appropriate response, really.
No, not for that, but like someone's hand got like caught in the garbage disposal on that and stuff.
Yeah.
They freaked me out. They're more like home invasion type. Yeah, getting hung from like the catwalk in a theater and stuff. That was
R.L. Stein as well, I believe, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. But I didn't like the monster stuff as much. As a kid, I liked more of the real stuff. So I didn't read scary stories, but I thought it was pretty good. Had the good Halloween feel. There was some, like Andy said, some things I didn't like that much about it, but overall I think it'd be fun. And the theater kind of made it come to life a little more than like watching it at home. So I'd recommend it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty solid Halloween watch, to be honest.
I wish there's more Halloween in it. It's kind of like, I thought it might be better like if it was one night of all these things happening.
They didn't stick the landing with the Halloween feel, but they definitely started off strong with it.
Yeah. Bob, did it get your Q-Che popping with that Halloween? How do you feel?
Oh, yeah. The first, 30 minutes or so, whenever it's all like happening on Halloween night, I was just like, this is killing me. Like, I was way into it.
You just kept giving thumbs up the whole time.
I did. I gave several thumbs up.
Yeah, I was cheesing a little bit, and then of course, like Randy said, the Halloween vibe kind of fades, but the movie like doesn't just plummet or anything after that. It's still pretty solid.
It just kind of focuses on other things.
Yeah. I was familiar with these books as a kid. I don't know that I read them all or anything, but I definitely read some of the stories, and they freaked me out for sure. But I like this movie actually quite a bit. I'm a fan of like Andre Ovredal and obviously of Guillermo Del Toro, and I think in general, like the visuals are great. The story is interesting. I like how they kind of created their own original story and then implemented all these short stories from the books, so that it's not just like a straight up anthology. I think that kind of worked to their benefit here. But overall, I think it was pretty damn successful, and I recommend checking it out for sure, especially because it is officially the kickoff of spooky season. So, I mean, start it right. Start it with a brand new movie in the movie theater that starts on Halloween night. Couldn't really ask for more than that, could you?
Yeah. I will say this is a new movie, but it still has not come out in Korea. So I know we've been doing like the poster giveaway or whatever, but it's not here. I had to get it the old 5-finger discount style. So
all right.
So unfortunately there's no posters to give away, unfortunately. I hope it eventually, maybe closer to Halloween, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised it didn't come out like closer to Halloween. I kind of thought that
a little bit.
It.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least maybe like early September, but what are you going to do?
You want to catch the tail end of summer, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Who knows? But let's go ahead and drop that spoiler warning and talk about the rest of this movie.
Spoiler warning.
All right. Let's do this thing. So one
thing that was kind of nice was having an era that wasn't where a bunch of kids run around that wasn't the 80s.
Right. 1968.
Yeah, I was like, I'm so close.
The problem though is like it was 60s, but we both were talking like it just didn't. Besides like the scenery, didn't feel like the 60s. Like the kids didn't really look the part to me or like talk the part.
Some of them did, but not the main three.
Yeah, the sister did.
Yeah. They had the clothing
it
down.
started off stronger. It felt like when they were at the drive-in, or like like the kid with like his car and stuff, and like their like the war. They threw in like the political stuff, like tricky.
I know that's what we're like. I guess it's just for that.
Yeah. Well, Becky, you said something like the way they talk, right?
Yeah, their talk like, oh, that's really cool, man. I'm like, I don't think you'd say that in the 60s. Like,
if any listeners are boomers and want to tell us about the 60s, please let us know that we're full of shit.
Yeah.
To know that. But yes, like that seemed like it seemed sort of very modern nomenclature. Like the way they spoke just seemed very modern, which they're catering to a modern audience. I can't truly blame them for it. But at the same time, I was really into that like 60s Halloween small town vibe. Like so that's something that they kind of like, that other movies have gotten pretty down pat in the 80s, or like Stranger Things season 2 was very much like nailing that aesthetic. And I want to see that, but for the 60s.
Yeah.
And it did that at first, like we said, kind of tapered off. So that was a little bit disappointing, and most of the characters just sort of had very modern sensibilities about them. Like nobody, like there were some sort of like 60s remnants. Like there was some racism going on against Ramon, the one of the main characters.
Yeah.
No, it still's happening now.
Their Halloween.
That's not
there was
that
a shooting
far
last
in the
week,
past
so
either.
like,
That's true.
Their Halloween costumes were cool. Like their moms made them, and like one kid was like a spider. Yeah, the witch costume. She like put on like all her like little molds and stuff.
The clown.
The clown.
I really
not a clown.
That clown. Like and I know it's the exact same costume, and that's why I thought that. But I thought it was doing the Coco the Clown like Max Fleischer cartoon thing, but he was doing some sort of operatic thing that I am not cultured enough to know.
Yeah.
Some French thing.
That kid, if like I like closed my eyes and like could only hear that guy talk, he sounded like a 40-year-old man. Like his voice like sounded like
he's Joe Pera. He's young Joe Pera.
I'm also like a little tired of the funny sidekick dude, and we both agreed funny sidekick wasn't that funny.
Yeah, Chuck, the character of Chuck was just a little too whiny for my tastes in this movie.
Yeah.
He was
I like the prank at the very beginning where he's literally like he takes a shit in the toilet and then he has to like fish his shit out of the toilet.
That was funny.
He puts it in a bag. Like why? It's like if you're really thinking this out, like why wouldn't you just shit in the bag? Like why are you gonna fish your own?
I wouldn't shit in a bag.
That sounds like that's the words of a true deviant speaking.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey,
I honestly don't think I would.
Rob, you've seen a man shit in a bag, have you not?
Yeah, I was like, you'll definitely do that to someone, didn't you? And you
Dude, Justin King did that.
Well, you probably don't want to say
just use his real name on a public forum. Sorry, Justin.
It was like 15 years ago. 16 years ago.
Never strike it big. That dude has absolute right to sue us.
That was on Bob's birthday. That dude threw a shit on some dude's truck.
Dude, it stunk up my whole house. The whole house.
This was pre poopery, guys. So there was no.
Oh man.
You kids these days and your poopery.
All the children
You really got it good.
You know that.
You got it good.
Oh,
But seriously, that dude shit in a bag, lit it on fire, and threw it inside of a car, and it landed on that
Dude,
dude's
that would
lap.
smell terrible.
That's so
Yeah.
dangerous.
You know the guy whose poop you threw it into?
let's not go into that.
No, I'm talking about the movie. I'm talking about the
We're talking
movie.
about the movie again.
This
We're
was-
talking about
the movie.
Okay.
You're not talking about our deviant past and whether or not we should be arrested.
Yeah. Not me, Justin King.
You really gotta stop.
That's fine.
There's going to be a lot of post work for Bob in this episode.
I don't know how to handle this. It's at least
Censor it out.
it's a common name, I guess.
Yeah, who? I was like, what? Why?
Anyway, back to the movie.
Anyways,
Yeah, that the bully was like classic, like way leaning into his bully role, but at the same time, like he had a literal bag full of flaming human shit on his crotch when he's driving down the street. Like I'd be fucking pissed too.
Yeah, they cast that kid pretty well. He was like pretty Weasley kid.
definitely the Vietnam, like wanted to go fight some people.
Commies, fight the commies.
I mean, like his character is instantly disliked, and like you're clear immediately that the stereotype of him is bully. But Bob, you're right. You make a good point. Like he kind of doesn't do anything that bad, and throughout the movie, except for locking the kids in the basement. But
that's after the flaming shit.
And that's in retribution, and that's also when he's extremely drunk, which for better or for worse is something you could add to that conversation. But that kid for the first 20 minutes of the movie or whatever.
He's basically the whole movie.
He's kind of just I thought he was going to have a much bigger role than he did. But he just was the first victim.
He really was, yeah.
Yeah, like he got the Herald Scarecrow thing, which was, by the way, a spot-on interpretation of the visuals from the
I agree.
Story.
That shit looked awesome.
Scarecrow was I don't know, like in real life, how that Scarecrow would look so humanized.
No, yeah,
it was creepy.
No, yeah,
it was not facsimile of reality. It was definitely facsimile of the illustration.
But it was it was creepy. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
So, and I honestly think that was my favorite one. And I feel this way about just kind of the movie in general, in the way that it kind of separate, like we said, it's like kind of anthology, but not really. Is the first Scarecrow one, and that was still surrounding the Halloween night and everything like that. I was really impressed at the beginning, and each time it lost that pizzazz a little more. Like each interaction I liked less and less and less, and as the movie progressed I seemed to kind of get less and less interested. I don't know if you guys felt that same way, but I felt like the Halloween night and the Herald and all that was peak interest, oh, this is awesome. And then by the end I actually was getting a little bored, or I was that last monster to chase the kid to the police station and stuff. It started to get more goofy, more kiddish, and I was I don't really like this now. And even the woman in the hospital, I like the red room aspect, or where everything turned red, but I didn't think she looked that good, or I don't know, that wasn't as interesting. Each time it got less and less interesting was my thought.
Yeah,
my least favorite was definitely the Red Room lady, but I don't know if you guys have seen My 600-Pound Life at all.
A little bit.
You were telling us about it.
The doctor's name is Doctor Now, and he's this plump Pakistani guy. I think
he's about 4 foot nothing.
Yeah, and every time he walks in the room, he goes, "How y'all doing?" And for some reason, that lady reminded me of him. Stop
every time he turned and looked and saw another lady, Becky was thinking, "How y'all doing?"
I don't know why. It's just I could see her just stopping and saying that. So, but
poor Doctor Now.
That's
he only wants to help.
And I don't know if it was we were in a theater where you ordered food and stuff, and so there were people coming in the whole time taking orders and all that. I don't know if it kind of not ruin the experience. It was fun, but like
this is the bad beer of Becky's review.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Definitely just like any vibe any spooky vibe. Like it was like a climax of the movie, and the guy's like, "Do you guys need anything else?" So kind of just like you couldn't really get into it enough.
Yeah,
I feel like
how y'all doing?
But at the same time, like none of it was like Justin said, it kind of was losing my interest.
Yeah.
I think minute 30, I was kind of getting bored, and then it like changed paces a little bit, and then by the end, I would
say it wasn't a gradual bell curve for me. Like not at the moment that you said, Juice, but I did enjoy like I think all of the monsters except for maybe the last one, the OTY or whatever.
Let's run them down. Let's kind of go through all the different creatures. So like
the first they go to the house. I think we should talk about that.
Yeah,
like, I mean, as part of the
that was a great haunted house for my taste.
Yeah. So they have like a haunted house, and like the goofy kid he finds like there's one he sees like an actual ghost. He's the only one, I think.
That was like sort of a weird anomaly where it was almost like unexplainable, like how why he saw anything.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The kids break into this like old decrepit mansion on Halloween night, and there's like this legend that there was so it's like this family by the name of Bellows, and they have this daughter named Sarah Bellows who apparently murdered children, and they kept her in the basement, and she would like to make up these stories or whatever. So they like find the book, Sarah Bellows' book, and it looks like it's like written in blood. And
tell the kids she murdered stories, and those were the stories that she told them.
Right, yeah. So they take the book, and the main girl, Stella, she's like kind of flipping through the book afterwards, and she realizes like a story's like forming real time in the book, and it's the story of Harold like coming to life and killing the bully whose name I forget now.
Tommy? Was it Tommy?
Yeah, maybe it was.
Tommy sounds right.
Tommy.
Yeah.
It was Tommy.
So that's when you kind of realize that this book is incorporating all of these kids into its murder stories like in real time. So each one of these kids kind of has their own story and their own creature, and we kind of work through those as the movie progresses. And also in between those like spooky monsters coming to life, the kids are basically trying to find out the backstory of the Bellows family and what's like Sarah Bellows' deal. Why is she killing these kids? And so you've got kind of this like detective story that's really pulling you through the main narrative in a way.
It is. It's weird like not Beverly Cleary. What's her name? It's like a Hardy Boys sort of deal. Nancy Drew. Thank you. It's like a Nancy Drew sort of thing going on with her.
The Hardley Boys, right?
The Hardley Boys.
They're definitely not hard with us. Hardly hard.
So Harold was the first one. He was the scarecrow. That one was dope. The second one was the toe, right?
Yeah, the toe.
Yeah, that was kind of gross.
I like.
Yeah, that was still like effective, and like I felt for that kid too because like he kind of like
he's hungry.
Like we kind of. And it happened. So like the bully, you're like, that dude's kind of a piece of shit. But then it starts getting the friends. They're like, oh shit.
Out of everyone, August, that kid with the big toe monster, like he was probably the one that deserved the least to be murdered because he was not on board for any level of even being in the house. He was kind of like the naysayer.
Yeah.
And he got fucked over.
And he got it like more brutal than like Chuck did. Like Chuck just got like absorbed. Like he got like yanked like under the bed and like his fingernails are like scratching the floor.
That scared the shit out of me. That jump scare when it gets pulled underneath the bed. It got me good.
I jumped. I did jump. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's number 2. So we had a scarecrow and then we had a corpse. The third one which is like the only one that stuck out to me from the books, like story wise, was the spider one. So this chick has like, she thinks it's a pimple. It's like a spider bite on her face, and it's like spiders all come out of her face or whatever. So that was
super effective for Beck.
Yeah, that was hard to watch.
That was Chuck's sister, right? His name's Chuck, right?
Yeah, Chuck's sister.
Yeah.
Chuck's sister. And so she
went crazy.
Yeah,
then she went like insane.
But then she was fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she's number 3. Number 4. Who was number 4? Was
that's the pale lady, I think.
The what?
The pale lady, the big white lady in the red room.
Red
How y'all doing?
Chuck. Yeah, Chuck. Yeah, how y'all doing? Number 4 was the hospital one, and then number 5 was the jail with the
jangly man.
What is it?
Racist cop got taken out, and then
yeah,
I forget what he said. It was like Utu or some sort of like 4-syllable thing.
Yeah, it was something weird.
The kid calls him the jangly man, which is easier to remember and say.
Oh, did he? Okay, I didn't catch that.
Yeah. And then they go back to the haunted house, and there's like a little episode there with like the family, the old, like the Bellows family.
It's like Sarah Bellows herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were like setting up this girl. So like, I guess what did they say? She was like albino or something. She was like looked different.
She had some sort of albino sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they locked her in the basement, and then they did something. They were like some greedy sons of bitches or something, and they like killed
poisoned the water.
Yeah, but they blamed it on her. But I couldn't why did they poison them? It was mercury or something. Were they like mining or something?
The water in the course of their business. And then she tried to tell people about it because she knew like why these children were dying.
But she was locked in the basement, and so she was talking to like kids through the walls, and then they died, and then it became this like this legend or whatever.
That makes more sense.
I think she was actually like a force of good, and that's what the end.
Yeah. But then she ends up being
family, but
a ghost or like a powerful ghost. I don't really know. That was a little like.
There's not a lot of like it's all very mythological in that like a ghost just happens. Like there's not like you aren't given, and you don't necessarily require a reason for this particular dead person to become a ghost. She just did, and she also came with a ghost with powers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that maybe, but like it's like from a logic perspective, it doesn't necessarily hold a lot of water, but from a storytelling perspective, and which is what the whole thing is about, is storytelling. Yeah. Like you got to give it to them. Like that's like a person dies and becomes a ghost. Like if somebody tells you that story, you just are forced to accept that.
Yeah.
I thought like at the end the friends might come back and it was just like a dream or something, but they're still missing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing though, how they end this movie is like
it's a fucking weird thing. Or the end of the movie rather.
Yeah, they solved the problem. Like the whole the way they end it, she goes back to the house, she's like trying to return the book the whole time. They try to burn it, it doesn't work, people keep dying. It's like every night. Somebody dies like every night. And so what it ends up happening is like she's like, I'll tell your story. Like so she they were like playing detective, and they figure out like, oh, she was framed, like she didn't actually kill anybody. And so they solve it by like, oh, I'll tell everybody. So then like all the ghosties go away, and the one kid doesn't die, and the one girl doesn't die. And then the guy, he goes to Vietnam to fight because he was drafted. And then the girl breaks the other girl, I guess, out of the psych ward, the girl with the spiders, and they're like driving to search for their missing friends. But where were they going? I don't understand why they're like, we're going to go find them. It's like the ghost took them. Where are it's not like
they are dead.
Like, it's not like they're in Wisconsin. Like we're going to go hunt them down. It's like they got.
I think they're in Lake Erie.
They got like absolved. Like. Like one just literally
they were absolved of all their sins. They went to heaven.
Maybe. But
I agree. Like I was confused about that. It really seems like they're trying to set up a sequel, and I really don't think this series needs one.
Yeah, she's trying to play her own Tom Cruise saying, I'm gonna go hunt all the
I see what you're doing, and it at least like if you take that at face value, it does a couple things. It does one thing really that I appreciate, which is it gives Hank Schrader a reason for existing.
Schrader,
Hank Schrader plays her dad. What's his name? Fucking. I'll have to think of the actor's name. I'm blanking on it, but he they have like some trauma in their family because her mom left at a young age, and she blames herself for it, and that's sort of like her central like arc is getting over that. Yeah. And that's all well and good. But he's sort of like a sad sack for most of the movie, and sort of like just working because he has to, and just like unable to deal with being a single parent, which understandable. But by the end of the movie, it's him, his daughter, and his daughter's friend's sister, who just got out of a psych asylum,
And they're just happily driving.
And they're
down the
happily
street.
driving to absolve their friend ghosts. Like they're out there trying to like save. She said, "I know in some way I'll be able to save Chuck and Augie, who are her friends." But how? And how do you know that?
She's got the book.
You have a magic book, I guess, but that magic book, you've never had any control over what it does. In fact, that was the whole premise of the story. So
to quote a wise man, John Goodman, it's all about the money, boys.
Oh yeah,
I guess. I mean,
how many books are there in the series?
There are three. As I recall, there were three.
Yeah, there
were three scary stories, more scary stories, and even more scary stories.
That's
what all the movies are going to be called.
So I guess
probably.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't like begrudge them for making another one necessarily, but I kind of wish they stood alone. Like I don't
need to see.
It doesn't need the same protagonists. It doesn't just have the same.
Yeah, if anything, just give me a new group of kids or something. You could even do it like a different era, like 60s, 70s, 80s. Or that'd be kind of cool.
Throw Jack Black in there. Then we'd be rolling.
Well, okay, Goosebumps 2 did not do so well, but
did not do so well.
Also, that clock in the wall, or the house with the clock in its wall.
The house with the clock in its wall.
Yeah, Jack Black was all up in that.
For some reason, Jack Black is tapped for a lot of like children's horror adaptations.
Yeah. He's a big goofy guy. Like,
but he also plays like very like it's like he's goofy because he plays everything super straight. Like he's not super straight, but like he takes everything super seriously within character.
I love Jack Black.
I love Jack Black, and I really loved the book, The House with the Clock on its Walls. I'm excited to watch the movie finally when I get a chance. But I don't know, like it is sort of like a losing battle because these are children's stories and we're adults reviewing them. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like
that's
the thing. I kind of can't fault this movie for having plot difficulties because it really had high ambition for what was really like set up to be an anthology. Like the books are anthologies. The books are singles, like very mythological, very like individual stories. And they're also very silly. Like there's stories that, like I could, if there weren't for the illustrations and my experience, like looking at them as a child and reading the story along with them, I don't know that they would have left an impact. I couldn't tell you the lady with her missing toe. I couldn't tell you about Harold the Scarecrow. I could tell you on sight that is the same illustrator from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark if you showed me a picture, though.
Yeah.
That's what it was really all about. And that's what this movie really nailed. So it's kind of hard for me to like hold it too hard against the movie if the plot is thinner than like fucking Midsummer or some shit. Like it's not.
Yeah, I guess the problem
more than that. Really,
I guess the problem with that was with me too. I felt like they like the Scarecrow thing. It was really cool, but all this like moments felt like they were over in like almost an instant. Like what seemed to be like the really like meat of the movie, like these individual like monsters, like they didn't hardly last at all. Like it was like, boom, here it is, and the kid's gone. Like, boom, here it is, and the kid's gone. Like it was so fast paced with these things. I was like, man, you could have maybe taken one of those out and spent more time. Or honestly, I would have preferred less time with them like investigating. Oh, let's go to the hospital. Like that, I was like really started to lose interest. I was like, man, I want to see these like monsters more like. And that seems like it'd be more effective with kids anyways. Like, oh, like you said, with the illustrations and like Harold like chasing him through the cornfield a little, like he literally like bumps into him, he like runs away, he like catches him, and that like that's the end of it. It's like so fast.
I mean, I don't know how long they were, but I know that the Red Room for me was like they didn't take their time with it, but they didn't rush that thing getting close to him. It was very incremental. I appreciated that. I remember sitting there thinking like, man, they could have just like suggested this and then just been done with it.
Yeah,
and save some time for the other things in the movie.
The whole reason they went there was kind of like Justin said, just kind of like too much for me. Like the whole investigation part of that was just like, okay, I get it. And
yeah, I mean,
looking through stuff.
That's the thing is like you're coming to this movie and like they inserted a Nancy Drew situation into an anthology story, which I think they did pretty well considering that seems to have been the aim. It's just kind of hard to like, I don't know, like for as thin as the original stories were, I can't blame them. I just can't. I can't blame them for trying to have a cohesive narrative.
Yeah,
I agree. I think it really pulls everything together and it benefits the overall story, even if it does kind of take away from some of the monsters or whatever. I think it worked pretty well.
Yeah, I mean,
it wasn't bad.
Has any anthology ever had like a really good central core thing that they use? You know, like
and that's the thing though. Like,
comes to mind as having at least kind of like a very consistent idea of what the anthology like what or the head of the branches is, the trunk is.
Yeah,
this movie, the trunk is the Cerebello's story and the investigation around that, and it didn't like they could have absolutely just gone without that shit, but I'm glad they went with it because it gave at least a little emotional weight to some of the characters. The character of Stella, she had some sort of like a little bit of depth going on. She was self-blaming. She related to the main antagonist, and that's how she managed to like
solve the problem,
pass it, and solve the issue. But then they went on to say, and now I'm going to go solve it even bigger by saving my dead friends, which I didn't appreciate that. But.
Don't appreciate you.
Something I wanted to bring up was the music in this movie.
Oh, I got something to say about that.
Yeah, the little music boxes that they open, they find a couple throughout the movie, and it's playing like this little jingle. And I don't know, did you guys recognize it at all? Are you familiar with that song?
Becky immediately recognized.
Yeah,
like at first, my mom used to.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
everything you're about to say makes sense.
Well, I lived in a house growing up that was like a main house, and then the people before us like built on into the garage.
Hang on, did you guys lose Bob?
Yeah,
visual. Yes, Bob, you there?
Keep talking.
Okay. So I grew up in a house that had like a main house, and then the people before us like built into the garage. So I like slept in the garage, so it was kind of away from like the rest of the house, and always like freaked me out at night. And my mom would do like weird things like behind my door as I was falling asleep every night. She would like scratch on the door and say "red rum" like in a creepy voice. Or she'd be like, "In space, no one can hear you scream." And then say like "good night." But she also sang this song to me through the door creepily.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the song, Juice?
No.
It's the worms crawling. It's about like it's called the Hearst song, and it's like getting buried. It's talking about like getting buried.
You're the next to die.
Yeah, you're the next to die.
It's a children's song.
Yeah. Look up the lyrics real quick. I'll sing it. It's like the worms crawling, the worms crawl out, the worms.
Oh shit, I kind of do know that a little bit.
That was my reaction too. I was like vaguely familiar, but I don't think
it's like a World War I's like children's song, like what's it that the going around in the circle song? Ring around the rosy and all that.
The rosy.
Yeah.
Subversive. That was more like hidden.
It's some dark shit, but
anyways, like yes, awesome. I very much knew that song, but Andy didn't recognize it right away.
I mean, it took me a minute. I was like, this is a cool theme. I was like, this is a cool theme. But and I was like, wait, this sounds kind of familiar, like a bicycle built for two kind of familiar, or something I didn't really know, but I kind of know. I don't know, but
it's definitely creepy, and it added a creep factor for me just because I knew the song, so kind of tied it home.
Yeah,
but maybe it was more popular in the 60s. Well, I guess it was after World War I.
The worms crawl in, the worms crawl out. Here, you want to sing it?
No, you can keep reading.
You want to sing it?
They eat knuckle on your snout. They eat your eyes. They eat your nose. They eat the jelly between your toes.
Oh shit! I do know this song.
Yeah.
A big green worm with rolling eyes crawls in your stomach and out your sides. Your stomach turns a slimy green and pus pours out like whipping cream.
Good Lord.
You'll spread it on a slice of bread, and that's when you eat what you eat when you are dead.
Damn.
And
Fuck you,
song,
kids.
Yeah, the song starts out, did you ever think as a hearse goes by that you will be the next to die? This is a fucking dark goddamn song. I'm actually shocked it hasn't been used in a movie before. Or if it has, I just haven't seen it.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah, and that it was like it's World War I era, as according to Wikipedia. So like it's I I don't know. There's some dark shit going on for one apparently.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need another drink. How about you?
Pour it up. Do we still have Rob?
No.
I don't know if we do or not, but we do have vodka.
All right, let's go ahead and rate this bad boy. Scary stories to tell in the dark. Randy, why don't you kick us off out of 5? How are you feeling?
So in general, I had a good time with this movie. I think we talked about how it's sort of a good entry-level horror, and we give that credit to a lot of movies, but this one in particular, I think it's almost like it's just challenging enough for a kid of the age that's going into the horror world. I think, like, in terms of like the fear factor, like some of these things are creepy and eerie and terrifying enough to where if you're that age, it would seem sort of like a mountain to summit. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that for what it is. The plot gets a little thin, but like I said, it's kind of the same as the books in that way. Like the plot of every story in in the book is very thin. And then you have sort of a connective tissue that somewhat works despite that being so thin. So I like all of that. I enjoy the movie. I think that it's a pretty good spooky season kickoff movie. Not the best, not the worst in that regard. But I do have problems with some of the plotting. Like some of the characters kind of just don't have a point for being there, except for fodder, which, I mean, it's a horror movie, so what are you going to do? But I would hope for like a little bit more because they get a lot of weight to the two main characters. I don't know. I agree with Justin's assessment that it kind of ramps down in excitement as things go on. So that's a complaint I have. I think the music choice and the aesthetic and like the tone setting, the place setting is pretty fucking great. But it kind of like just slacks off towards the end, really, just a little bit. So love the haunted house. There's a lot to like about this movie. I think for me, it's going to wind up at 3.5. Yeah, that seems fair.
Sweet deal. Becky, what about you? How are you feeling out of 5?
Pretty similarly.
Cool.
I don't know how to say the word.
Cool.
Similarian.
It's pronounced simile.
Oh, pretty much simile as Randy. I know it's not. I'm not fucking it. Okay.
Well,
She has a master's degree, okay?
Similar.
Anyways, I feel pretty much the same as Andy does about it. I thought it was all right. It was a good, like you said, intro movie for kids. Do you know what it was rated? Was it PG-13?
It's a PG. Yeah.
PG-13. Okay.
13.
Yeah, I'd say it's like on the edge of like, you know, we were at a family thing recently and my, I don't know, niece, cousin, somebody, I don't know how she's related. She just turned 13. But like
One of those people.
Yeah. Someone, but she turned 13 and that was like their big sleepover to watch their first like 13-year-old movie. So this might be a good one like that, I guess. But PG-13 intro. But yeah, I'd say 3.5. Kind of the same. It was like it was good in some regards, but like everyone else said, it kind of got slow towards the end. Not a super fan of that. But
yeah,
it's all right.
All right, 3.5. Juice, how you feeling?
Yeah, about the same. The thing is, I guess my knocks on this are really like personal preferences. Like, I appreciate that this movie was made, and I appreciate the efforts that they made to like to put into the designs to stay kind of close to the books, because like Randy was saying, like the images in that book is really what I feel like sticks in a lot of people's minds. Like I know he's like a graphic designer and stuff, but this is kind of the same thing with me too. I feel like the images are like what kind of really made that book, and it affected, you know, a lot of us in our younger ages getting us into horror. And I felt like they put a lot of effort into that. So even though I was saying like, you know, like the Red Woman and stuff, like it started to like lose its edge for me. Like I still appreciate the efforts that they put into it. And I felt like they stayed true. So I appreciate that. And again, it's like, yeah, I really like the Halloween season and stuff like that. And once it had left the Halloween season night, it kind of like lost some of that feel for me. But, you know, I feel like those are very personal choices to me. I do think a awesome movie for kids. I'm glad like this movie got made. It doesn't feel like cheap or like a money grab. The ending was, a little like, we do, do we need to keep this going or whatever? But, and even though like, the middle story or whatever, or the connecting story was then like, I understand the need for it to exist. So like, it all just feels like kind of personal preferences to me, for kind of the knocks on it. But I think I'm going to end it at 3.5 as well. It's a little bit better than average. And I think it'll be, for the years to come, it'll be a fun one to throw on once the spooky season like comes around, because that first like 45 minutes like was great for the season. Like it got me really excited. So I think it'll like hold value like in the future as well. Like I don't think it'll just like fade away.
Cool. Yeah, I can't believe this, but I'm going to give it a 3.5 as well. We're all giving it a 3.5.
Unilateral.
Yeah, that's a rare occurrence.
I know.
But I'm definitely a sucker for movies that take place on Halloween, especially if they're done well. And the first half of this movie very much takes place on Halloween. So I was way into that and like the general atmosphere and like the setting of 1968. Like the old clothing, I was way into that, and I thought the kids, as far as like their interactions with one another, was pretty great. The like flaming bag of shit and the pranks on Halloween, I was just loving all that. I enjoyed like the original storyline that's kind of pulling everybody through, like with the Bellows family, and they're like sort of uncovering the like dirty deeds of this family that lived in their town like 100 years ago. I thought that was pretty cool. If it was just like a straight up anthology, I don't know that I would have liked it quite as much. And it definitely, like, they lost me on the Jangly Man. I really liked all the creatures, but the Jangly Man, it's like they swung for the fences on it. They should have dialed it back to like 50% of what they did, and like
that seemed a lot more CG than any of the others.
I agree. They should have just like got a dude in a costume and made him move way less.
Well, they did.
Really?
Oh yeah, really?
A lot of the
face,
but like
how do you do that with his like feet were backwards?
We have a contortionist. I've seen video of the guy like hopping around. So
I wish it looked better then.
But it's
it didn't come off that way, I guess, which is a bummer.
No, it really didn't.
Yeah,
that's cool. They did
that's
that.
They overdid their like rotoscoping with it. Like they just kind of blasted the practical part into oblivion. It seems like for that part.
Yeah. Whoa, graphic designer over here.
Whoa.
They're rotoscoping.
Oblivion.
I don't know if that's probably not the best term to use for that either. So.
I don't think that's what that actually is, but I know what you mean.
Well, I mean, they have to some degree. Well, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Let's go on.
Yeah, so they definitely lost me on the Jangly Man. But other than that, I really dug the inclusion of the Hearst song, like the little jingle. Apparently, I don't remember this when I was looking at the books when I was a kid, but apparently the lyrics for that song was included in these books. I don't know if you guys
maybe that's why we all know it.
Yeah.
Maybe because like once you started reading it, like I was like, oh shit, I do know this song.
Yeah, I know the tune.
I know the tune though, and the books don't sing. So
there's so many versions of this song you can listen to, and the one that I'm most familiar with, Harley Poe did like a cover of this song, and that's the one that I know. So when I heard the jingle in the movie, I was like, holy shit, that's like that's the fucking Her song. So I thought that was pretty cool, how that was like a reoccurring sort of theme. I don't know, overall pretty great. So yeah, a 3.5, especially if you got teenagers. Make them watch this movie. They don't have a choice.
No consent. Watch the movie.
You're my property until you're 18.
I don't consent.
Whatever, kid.
No means no.
So obviously our aggregate is going to be a 3.5.
It's a real theme this episode.
They're really what
Damn,
the fuck happened to us?
Let's carry on. Let's get into our Rotten Tomatoes segment and see what the critics and users think about scary stories to tell in the dark.
Certified fresh to death.
Scary stories to tell.
Scary stories to tell them. Here's one about Gary, Indiana.
Gary has
Scary
stories.
Gary.
Oh.
All right, let's go around the table, everyone. We're gonna try to guess these Rotten Tomato scores. Pretty solid sample size. Total count for the critics, 132. So that's pretty good. Wait, are you guys having a lover's quarrel over there?
No, Becky has seen the critic score recently, so I was like,
Randy?
no, she could.
Okay, she can talk to other men. Okay, Becky, are you familiar with the Rotten Tomatoes?
That face looks like a rotten tomato.
Oh.
I'll do the user score, but I won't do the critic score.
Okay, thank you for
It
being
might have changed,
honest.
but I don't know.
Yeah,
So,
it's okay.
yeah.
That was first honesty.
I totally forgot. I would have totally forgotten that. So, oh my god,
All right, let's start. Bob, why don't you kick us off? You always get stuff.
Bob.
Oh.
Bob.
That's me.
Preach.
Bob.
Bobby
see?
Mama.
Kick us off. 132 critics rated this movie. What do you think they think of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
I think they probably enjoyed it overall. I think right now, Del Toro, being that he won a couple Oscars recently, and he produced this movie, and he just got awarded a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I think they're probably suckling in that Del Toro teat.
Whoa. Cool.
So I'm going to go relatively high, maybe like an 85. I'll go 85.
85?
Yeah.
Okay. Randy, how do you feel about this one?
I kind of suspect they feel similarly to us, that it's like it's good, but it's more geared towards kids and families, and you have to gauge it on that barometer. So maybe like a 75.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Okay. It is certified fresh with an 81%. So
Ooh, yeah.
Bob is going to take it. You are both close.
Very close. Yeah.
Yeah. Bex, is that what you remember it being? Or did Randy?
It was an 80 when I checked.
Okay,
So
close.
it went up.
I remember
it
this
went up a
because you
point.
teased me like, I saw the Rotten Tomatoes score. Okay. And I was like, well, don't tell me. And you're like, but I want to tell you.
I didn't tell you. I'm good.
Did he? Critic consensus is, like the best-selling series of books that inspired it, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark opens a creepy gateway into horror for younger genre enthusiasts. Yes.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Accurate.
It is certified. So I guess 80 maybe is the cutoff for certified. I don't really know.
I think I don't know,
I
actually.
think it's lower than that, but I don't know.
that
We've only
85?
done this for years.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Come on, guys.
Should know the rules. All right. Well, let's get into the audience score. Becky, you can vote this time. It's okay if you can.
Cool.
Let's go around 2,397. God, these audience scores keep getting lower and lower and lower. Becky, why don't you kick us off? What do you think the audience, the oozers, rated Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
Well, you just said lower, which.
I think he means number of people.
Oh, gotcha. I was like, well, you just said.
Sorry.
We don't need you to mansplain, Randy.
Oh my god.
Let me mansplain this to you real quick.
Oh my god. 83.
83. All right, Randy. What do you think?
I'll stick with 75.
75. And Bob, finish us off.
Blurb.
I'll take 85 again, please.
85.
Mm-hmm.
Randy, what was yours?
75.
75. You're going to take it. Randy, good job. Audience score, a little bit lower. 72. 72.
Oh,
All those grumpy old men are getting on there, having their way with
This isn't like me reading a book as a child at all.
There's no yabbos to bump it up a little bit.
Yeah, there's no yabos. Not a single yabo.
Where them yabos at?
Cool.
Where my yabos at?
Dude, that should be one of our cereals. Yabos.
Oh
It's
my
kind of
God.
like sugar-coated
Discuss that
yabo.
off camera.
Cereal Barons, Straight Chilling Podcast. Yabos.
We're coming for you, Kellogg. Kellogg.
Clog.
We have big ambitions.
Yep. Yes, we do.
I want my sugar-coated yabos.
Ooh.
I know you do, Juice. I know you do. You would trade all the stars in your pocket for it.
All righty then. Randy, do we have any trivia for this? I know it's a new one.
It's a new movie, so there's really not a ton that I could point to.
Oh, you said that guy was a contortionist. That was interesting.
Well, I just saw. I happened to see on Twitter somebody shared like some promotional footage. So if you want trivia, look at promotional footage. You'll find it.
So is that
there is, as far as I know.
Is that a no?
That's a nah.
Okay, nah, brah. All right. Well, in that case, I guess we have no choice but to go hunting.
Goodwill Hunting?
Cooter hunting.
The opposite.
Oh.
I'm down. Goodwill hunting.
I've been on this for a while. I forgot.
Horror podcast. You forgot about the cooter?
Well, I knew the cooter, but the hunting part I was.
Let's go hunting. So, Justin, just for those who might be listening for the first time, why don't you give us a rundown on exactly what a cooter is?
Let's talk the cooter profile. We got, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 points.
4
on the chart. They're measured in sands, Jeremiah sands. You've got smug arrogance is one of the points. Manipulation. Attire. Sexual deviancy. However, this was like a kid's movie. There wasn't a lot of sexual deviancy going on.
No.
So
I just heard that in Dora. Remember you told me that there's sexual tension in the new Dora?
There was a critic who said that, there's so much sexual tension in the Dora the Explorer movie, and people lit his ass up.
Sounds
so there might
strange.
be some sexual tension in this movie.
Yeah, that is an uncomfortable thing for anyone to say.
She was really giving me the eyes. She knew what she was doing.
We have a theme.
Weird. So
that is very strange.
Cooters.
That dude sounds like a cooter.
I think we found the cooter of the week.
Yeah,
it's not a movie.
Cooters in I forgot like everybody's name.
So the bully.
I just remember Augie.
Yeah, the bully. I would think would be the closest one to take some cooter cakes today.
What'd you say?
I think the police officer guy was kind of an asshole.
He was an asshole. He was a racist piece of shit, but
he wasn't in and really like he had like scenes and they're pretty brief.
Yeah.
He was definitely arrogant.
He doesn't really manipulate. I mean, that's the closest thing I would say he did was manipulate, and that's pretty loose interpretation.
He was arrogant because he didn't believe anything the kids were telling him. Attire, he was just cop, whatever. Yeah,
cop. That's true. I did forget about the sheriff guy. That's good. And was that Tommy's dad? Was his dad the sheriff?
I don't think so.
His dad was the chief, they said?
Oh, actually, yeah, I think he was.
Was he?
That might...
Was it amazing? I don't know.
At one point, the girl said something like, I'm going to tell the chief or something, but it implied like it might be one of those like kind of like It situations where it's like an abusive kind of dad or like real hard ass or something. But they didn't dive.
He's supposed to deliver eggs, so I guess mom's a farmer, dad's a cop. I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know. So, but even the bully, like we were saying, like, what did he really do? They imply what he like farted in somebody's milk carton and then they had to drink it.
Apparently,
I guess.
That's a classic.
I don't know.
That's why we had milk bags when I was in school.
Yeah, that's why. That's why they switched it. All those farts.
Fart-free milk.
Can't fart in a bag.
Can't fart in a bag.
Can't fart in a bag.
Fart in a box.
No, but I think like, what did he do? He first of all he did lock them in a haunted house while drunk.
Yeah.
I mean he sucked.
He was like, drinking underage.
That's not a point.
Drinking and driving.
He was doing pretty bad at the beginning.
He destroyed Ramon's car.
Yeah, that's
he kind of like was he messing around with that chick? Yeah, like
racist remarks.
Yeah.
Like, did he do anything specifically to the sister that we could like notch on the maybe sexual deviancy?
I don't think so.
I
don't think so.
He was a true gentleman, to her take him out for a nice ride around the town.
So maybe he was arrogant. He wasn't really like manipulative or sexually deviant. His attire was just a jock.
His attire was like a football kid. Yeah.
The overall shittery though, like the douchebag.
Yeah, he was real shitty. Yeah. But that's why we have the points.
I don't think
Maybe.
he registered
Had enough. Not enough
Maybe.
sand.
Here we go. The Bellows family. Because they killed kids. They lied about it. They blamed it on their daughter. And then when she tried to tell the truth, they locked her away. So
they abused her for years.
Yeah, that's pretty arrogant manipulation.
So they could hit the manipulation because they kind of like manipulate everyone to believe it was the girl. So that's manipulative.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
it's probably all right for the time, but
yeah, they're smug. I mean, they could maybe hit enough on the smug arrogance and the manipulation because the smug arrogance, they were like rich, kind of pompous assholes.
Yeah.
And they were like doing it for the money, killing kids and like not, cutting the safety standards or whatever they're doing. I was like,
Mercury.
Still a little fuzzy on the details. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I never really would explain that well, but
they're probably cereal barons.
Pretty clear. They poisoned a bunch of kids with mercury from their paper mill. Was it a paper mill?
Some kind of water mill.
Sarah was gonna like blow the whistle on them, and they found out.
Gotcha.
And they locked her away forever.
So that probably is the closest.
And they were actually even higher manipulative because remember they listened to that recording that was on like the little spear thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
the wax spear. The wax.
Yeah.
Wax cylinder.
I couldn't think of the shape. I was like, it's not a spear. The wax cylinder. And I guess one of them was a doctor, and they were like electroshock, like therapying her to
torturing
scramble her brain.
Yeah.
You did it. Yeah, you did it, Sarah. Don't you remember? She's like, I didn't.
That's my vote.
She like does a weird Last Exorcism moment where her voice completely changes. She's like, I'll tell you a story or whatever she does.
Like good.
What about the jangly man?
Very sexually.
Jangling?
He's not wearing any clothes. Sexual deviant.
He was actually superfluous.
I mean, the man falls apart. He falls apart quite a bit.
Things fall apart.
I'm not sure how that factors into cooterdom.
All right, so the Bellows brothers or whatever. I think it was mainly like the brothers.
Brothers. It was like a whole family. It was like mom, dad.
Mom's in there somehow.
Okay. All right. The Bellows. We'll say the Bellows.
Yeah, the
Cooter of the week. Good call, Bob. Way to hunt them.
Hey, I'm a professional.
You hunt with the best of them.
Cooter.
Gracious. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into a little bit of horror news.
Extra. Read all about it.
Let's do this. All right, so first thing I want to talk about is there's a movie called The Hunt. I think we talked about the trailer in a recent episode. I don't know if it was last week or not.
Last week.
Was it last week?
With Nicole.
So that movie was slated to come out in, I think, late September, if I remember correctly, but it recently was pulled. I think it's probably still going to come out at a later date. Most likely, if I had to guess, it's going to be like straight to VOD or straight to Blu-ray or something like that. But I guess, so Universal was catching some flack in light of some recent tragedies that occurred. There were some mass shootings that happened. And I guess they pulled like the marketing for it. They were still going to release it, but they pulled the marketing, and then I guess they were still catching some flack. And they go on to say that after thoughtful consideration, the studio has decided to cancel our plans to release the film. We stand by our filmmakers and will continue to distribute films in partnership with bold and visionary creators like those associated with this satirical social thriller, but we understand that now is not the right time to release the film. So this movie is weird. I don't know that I was specifically too excited to see it. Apparently, so like the plot of it is like 12 red state strangers apparently wake up in a clearing and realize they're being hunted by liberal elites. So that's like some sort of like social satire, social commentary. Yeah, so it's very much The Deadly Game, but I guess it's got a new coat of paint on it or something. It sounds kind of dumb to me, but I don't know. This being pulled is fucking dumb. It's not going to change anything. It's not going to help anything. I don't really get the point of it, even if it sounds like a stupid movie to me. I don't know. What do you guys have thoughts or feelings on this?
I think they could have easily stopped it. Like I can see an argument for dropping the advertising because who might be watching the advertising? Somebody traumatized maybe, but
yeah,
that's a couth thing. But I mean, I don't see any reason not to have the film come out at all. Like, especially the people that seem to be like really railing on this movie are people that from the trailer looks like they're the part of the divide that's coming out on top. So I don't understand like the logic behind it or the outcry in the first place. And then like, I mean, I don't know, like it's kind of tough to say without seeing the movie what its intentions are. Sure. Like you can only guesstimate so much based on hearsay and what's in the trailer. But from what I've seen, it was like, it really seemed like, okay, well, like, why are these people mad about this movie? Like, I don't understand that.
It seemed like a very paint by numbers like type of movie, and it's weird because from watching the trailer, like, it's weird that they specifically were like red, like. From the trailer, I didn't get like these are red staters
at all,
or like
the filmmaker
articles
had to
that
have
share
said
it around.
That. Yeah. Because I didn't pick up on that at all.
Not at all.
They're not explicit about that. Some of them have accents, but that's about it.
Yeah,
like if anything, that usually it really makes me think of like Escape Room, where it's like the elite, like the quiet elite, or like the shadow elite. You know, it's not like the liberal elite, and it's like if that's what the filmmaker chose to do, that's very strange. Because I guess like if it were flipped and they were like, these are some people from California that we scooped up, and they're in the middle of I don't know, fucking Mississippi is a red state, right? I don't know, and this is where it would be like I guess either way, it's a weird choice to make because we've seen this type of movie. We talked about it last week when we didn't know it had any kind of political thing, and I was just like, this feels so bland anyways, and to like specifically focus on that seems so weird. Like, I don't know, it just, I don't know, seems like a weird choice to me.
Yeah.
Did y'all see that new Hulu movie about like the immigration border thing?
What was it?
Yeah.
It's the one that came out 4th of July.
Yeah, that was part of the Into the Dark series. I can't remember what it was called now.
I can't either.
But I don't know. I mean, that's kind of in the same realm to me. Like, it's kind of...
I mean,
that's probably way worse than this.
Like, and that's a lot more direct.
Yeah, it's like happy now.
It's so, and I mean, I guess the really like the thing that I can understand criticism about with this movie is like people hunting people right now, just like one of the worst tragedies involving guns.
Yeah.
And I can see like, okay, not for wide public viewing right now. I can see that argument being made from a PR standpoint, but I don't understand like the other part where it's like people are inferring, and it's like the trailer's like a Rorschach test for what you want it to be. It seems like if you nobody feels like they're on the winning side of whatever divide there is, or whatever divide they're deciding is there. So people are just kind of generally ready to be pissed at something, I think.
Yeah. Just like
culture shock.
Really, culture shock. Yeah. It just seems like people are really projecting a lot onto this movie, and it's weird because it doesn't even particularly look that great or inspiring or interesting or original in any way. It's just for some reason this movie's catching a lot of flack, I guess. I kind
of like a little bit of like political feel from the trailer, but not to the extent that I would have been concerned with it.
No, I mean like the Purge movies are this, but like
the Purge movies are like, way more political.
Explicit. Yeah. And also like I get that there's like horrible stuff happening in the world, and I get that this movie might not be like a great thing to advertise right now, but most media, or like a lot of media, has a lot of violence, specifically a lot of gun violence, and these like mass shootings happen more and more regularly. So if it's like, too soon to put this out, then it's gonna be too soon to put out anything with any gun violence at all. If you're gonna go that way,
don't go see The Hunt. Go see Hobbs and Shaw, a movie where people jump out of planes and shoot things.
So I mean that argument doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Like I empathize for sure, but it doesn't really make sense to me. So,
and I guess it's not just like, gun violence. I guess it's just like we are hunting people. Like I guess that's like
it's such an
like
such
the Hunger Games movies that kids fucking love. Like I don't know.
Yeah, that's
like
literally hunting each other.
I guess did they have guns in that? They might not have. But
no,
they had every other
conceivable weapon.
Yeah. I don't know.
But still, a lot of people died. So
yeah. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing.
It's just got caught. It just caught in the wrong people's crosshairs, and it's like, it's if the right group decides to have a problem with it, then they can be loud enough to get something fucking pulled or destroyed or canceled or whatever.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing with this movie. I feel so paint by numbers and bland that like they're probably just like fuck it. Like really, this wasn't going to be some blockbuster blowout or anything like that. It's going to be in the theaters for like 2 weeks, and like a handful of people are going to see it and then forget about it. So it's like, fucking pull it. Like, you know, from a business decision. I'm not saying pull it. I'm just saying like they're probably just like, fuck it.
I am
It sets a dangerous precedent, really. But
yeah, it sets a pretty bad precedent. I'm more intrigued to watch it now just to see if there really is anything at all of interest. Yeah, I know.
You can't, Bob.
Well, I will. It's gonna be released. It's just
it'll
a matter
be
of
on Amazon Prime next month.
Yeah.
Going to the vault.
They'll sell it to Netflix.
Going to the vault with what?
It's a Universal movie. I don't know if I don't think Disney can do that. Anyway, that's enough about that. We did watch a new trailer for a movie, a horror comedy called Extraordinary. It's got Will Forte in it, and I don't think we have a release date for this one just yet. The trailer just came out, and they put out a bunch of like still images, so I'm sure it'll probably come out around spooky season this year if I had to guess. But this plot is weird, man. So in the movie, Rose, a mostly sweet and mostly lonely Irish small town driving instructor, must use her supernatural talents to save the daughter of Martin from a washed-up rock star who is using her in a satanic pact to reignite his fame. That's
Satanic pact.
Satanic pact.
Satanic pact. So smooth.
So damn smooth, though. What'd you guys think about this trailer?
Zero appeal.
Becky was not interested.
All right.
She made that clear on like second 30.
Well, the trailer just had too much going on. It just wasn't. I don't know. Just way too much. I wasn't into it.
I am ready and willing right now to see Will Forte do whatever. I'm excited to see Will Forte act silly as fuck on screen.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what
jokes in there.
Yeah,
he's good. I like him, but again, this didn't appeal.
And if I take him out of the proceedings and remove replace him with somebody I don't know in the trailer, I'm not half as excited. I'll say that.
I agree.
You know, like he's the selling point for me. The premise is, fair enough. I'd be interested to see how it plays out, but it's not like it's not whipping me away on a whirlwind.
Yeah. There you go.
Whirlwind Randy. Yeah, I'm here for Will Forte. Like, I'm definitely stoked for some Will Forte in this movie. But yeah, like you said, if it was anybody else, I'd be kind of lukewarm on it. I'm down. I'm down for it. It looks funny as shit. I'm excited. Maybe we'll be talking about it soon.
I'll be staying home.
Let's do it. Becky's will not have it.
I was just not into it.
You hate to see it.
Anyways, whatever. Not my call.
Hate to say it. Last bit of horror news we got here. So, Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead are back with a new movie, which is crazy because The Endless just came out last year, I believe, which is a movie they put out. They also did Spring and Resolution prior to that. So they're like a writing/directing team. So this new movie is going to be, it's a sci-fi thriller that, again, doesn't have a defined release date, but it's coming soon, so probably like September, October. The movie's starring Anthony Mackie and Jamie Dornan, and the synopsis is as follows. The pair will play two New Orleans paramedics whose lives are ripped apart after encountering a series of horrific deaths linked to a designer drug with bizarre otherworldly effects. So I am down for that.
Yeah, I think Tammy was telling us about this back in February, I think, when we were covering Inside and she came on. I remember that. So I guess it's been on the radar for a while, but now it's actually coming out.
Yeah. It's a good premise. I mean, I'm kind of interested in that.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Anthony Mackie in more than I haven't seen him much more than the Avengers films.
Yeah,
you just don't really get a feel for it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Spring. I thought that movie was great. And it got me really excited for The Endless, which I wasn't quite as hot on. But this movie, I'm thinking they probably have a little bit of a bigger budget if they got a name like Anthony Mackie,
Yeah.
And I think that'll help a lot. They're pretty creative, those two. So
they're interested in that sci-fi realm. They seem to really like.
They do sci-fi premises, it seems like, and I like it. I've only seen The Endless. I don't know a thing about Spring, but The Endless, I thought that concept was great. I had some other quibbles with it, but it's such an interesting concept, and there were some really cool set pieces in that movie because of their concepting.
Yeah, and I think it's curious because with their other ones, it does seem like a lower budget, and because they're so interested in this sci-fi or potential aliens or whatever, kind of skirt around that, I guess, with such a lower budget, which I don't know if a bigger budget's going to help that necessarily, but I guess it could. Yeah,
I think it could.
Bring those kind of abstract thoughts maybe to life a little more instead of just saying there's something over there. You can't see it though.
Don't worry about it.
I don't have the budget to make it.
It's definitely there though.
Oh my God, just out of frame. There's a huge monster.
It's blowing my mind.
It looks great.
It's terrifying. The scariest thing I ever did see.
So yeah. I'm sure that'll be coming out later this year. Maybe we'll be talking about it. Who knows? But that's it. That's all I got for horror news. Let's go ahead and get into our voicemail segment. Hotline Scram! Hotline Scram! So if you are listening and you want to call and leave us a voicemail to be featured on our next show, you can hit us up at 904-638-3231. So we've been having a slew of people calling in and just singing on their voicemails, which
we encourage that.
Yeah, so that was kind of a random thing that started happening, and I'm way into it. And we don't have a bumper for this segment, and we've been trying to think of stuff to do. So I want to encourage people to keep calling and keep singing, and I want to eventually take all of the sung parts of the voicemails, and I'm going to cut them together for an intro bumper for this segment. So showcase your pipes, people, is what I'm saying.
Get your pipes out.
Gain straight chilling infamy by making that bump. Can you make the bump?
Can you make it?
Are you hard enough with us to make it?
I guess that's the new challenge, huh? Can you make the bump?
How hard with us are you, really?
Just have someone jerking off and just the sounds. That can be the bump.
Yeah,
hard with us.
Don't do that.
You can do that.
You can, but don't.
If you want to call and phone sex us, you can. No guarantees, but
it'll cost you $69.69 a minute.
I will say, to start this segment off, to look for a bump, I was watching old 90s sex hotline advertisements, to see if somebody said oh, call this hotline or whatever. Yeah. And that shit was hilarious.
For your call.
Dude, some of it was $4 a minute in the 90s.
Yeah,
that is so.
That's $6 million now.
I watched a documentary on Russian people who got Russian brides, and it was in the 90s, and people would spend thousands and thousands of dollars talking to Robo Russians.
Damn.
For hours. Yeah.
I mean, they still do. They're just not paying for it directly.
True.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's what people come to us for.
That's what they do. We got one voicemail this week. This one is from Rage Cat. Let's go ahead and hear what the man asked to say. Here we go.
Oh, when I hear that hotline scream, that can only mean one thing. Anyways, I wanted to talk to you guys about the latest Halloween Resurrection episode, because you guys honestly reminded me of the funniest fucking scene in the series. That fucking rat, man. fucking rat. Just, I don't know how I could have forgotten that stupid fucking rat, but you guys just talking about it on that episode just fucking killed me, man. Like, I just couldn't stop fucking laughing. That fucking rat. God damn it. Oh, I can't. Remembering that stupid rat made me forget to, like, say it. It's Rage Cat or Ed. Either of those two fucking works, dude. But that fucking rat, man. Oh, man, that just fucking cracks me up, man. Man, I wanted to leave that voice message here because it's been a while since I've talked or really just left a message here. And just that fucking reminding me of that scene. Just, oh man, it just brought me great joy. And I just wanted to say thank you guys for just fucking reminding me of that fucking scene. Thanks. I'll send you guys another message later. Probably after your Army of Darkness review, because I got a lot of shit to say about that. So, until then. Bye.
Nice. It cracks me up that fucking rat is so funny to other people. Like, who would have thought?
Dude, I lost my shit like 4 separate times in that podcast about that goddamn rat. That shit.
I'll tell you, man. Rich Cat is doing us proud. Definitely calling in very drunk, and we appreciate that. On a very heartfelt rat. We're enables here at Straight Chillin'. If you want to call us, make sure and have a whiskey in hand or some such. We will enjoy entertaining your singing and laughing. So bring it on.
Very true. I love that he was so excited to talk about the rat. It took him like a solid minute before he was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, this is Rage Cat."
Yeah,
it's so.
By the way,
that fucking rat.
Gold.
Rage Cat.
Thanks for calling Rage Cat. It's always good to hear from you.
Greatest Halloween scene ever made, Bob? What do you think?
The worst and the best Halloween scene in Halloween history reside in the same movie. So take that for what you will.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gracious. So, again, if you guys want to call and leave us a voicemail, you can do that at 904-638-3231. And I think there's only one item of business left we have to take care of, Justin.
You know it. It's intervention time. Intervention time. Let's get way down in the hole. Bob, you have an addiction, and we're here to help you through it. So far, we started August off on a light note. We're going to talk about Bob's ever-growing massive physical media collection, mainly the Blu-rays, the Steelbooks, the 4Ks, the occasional DVD that hasn't been converted over yet, right, Bob? I'm talking the lingo, right?
You're doing better.
Yeah.
You're doing a lot better.
Oh, what region is it?
Region specific.
Region free, baby.
Oh, shit.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
That's the universal blood type of DVD players.
So we are now counting Bob's weekly purchases of physical media. It's been quite illuminating. I don't think when we started this segment we realized how bad it was.
But we're really covering some cockroaches on this thing.
We still you have a lot of packages. Always a DVD.
Oh yeah.
But Rob, we're seeing if Rob could have saved up for a jet ski had he not purchased so many Blu-rays this year.
Yep.
Bob,
is there a movie that costs as much of a jet as a jet? Is that why y'all made this?
No, it's just because we think Rob could benefit from a jet ski, and he just refuses to save his money.
That is the origins of the joke, which long ago we were talking about Silent Night, which is the remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Sure.
And it grossed like 16 grand or something, and we were like, you couldn't even buy a jet ski for that.
That's what I remember. That was hilarious.
Jet skis.
Yeah.
Anyways, what's Rob's damage?
All right.
So,
stack.
So the first week of August, Rob started with 6 DVDs, but only 3 were horror. So I was fair and knocked it down to 3. Bob, let's see the stack for week 2.
Here you go. On YouTube the stack.
There's always so many. I don't know why I'm always so surprised.
Damn. Block out the sun.
Wait, what's that? What is that? 9 DVDs or 9 boxes at least?
So it's 10, but one of them isn't a horror movie, which would be Escape from LA.
Okay, one of them. Escape from LA.
Yeah.
What's your total? I don't know if I know.
Oh, we'll
hang on.
Oh, okay. I've never heard.
I think we were at 33, and that was counting June and July. So we are now at a count of 12 for August, and we're only counting horror DVDs. Only the horror ones.
That's 45.
We're going to have to shut this segment down. I don't like it.
The shame is too much.
Do you have a total for the amount, total?
I don't know.
Oh, we're going to total. Oh, no, we couldn't.
We couldn't.
We
you
couldn't
act like
do it.
Saves receipts or some shit. No.
Hang on. Let me update
so no one can know.
Rob, you know there's Netflix, Hulu, HBO.
What are you talking about?
Bob?
Shudder?
What are you even talking about?
We have a Shudder account.
What?
Yeah.
It's a corporate account.
Which means we just share it. That's all that means.
Corporate.
So,
Bob, we're up to 12 for August now. So you have, since we have started counting this, you have easily hit double digits every month. In fact, June shocked me. I was like 14, and we're at 12 halfway through August.
It's the 12th.
Not halfway.
I don't know what to say. I'm just going to talk about the movies that I got.
Let's talk about what you got, why you got them, where you got them from.
All right. Also, I have a lot of gift cards, a lot of Amazon-specific gift cards. So
all right.
Yeah.
Those can buy jet skis too, you know.
I don't know that they sell jet skis on Amazon.
They could buy propellers, Bob. You could buy life vests from Amazon. You could buy some decals.
Decals. Yeah, that's what you want.
I'm
a cheap person. This segment's right up my alley of spending money and stuff.
This is the Price is Right shit for Beth.
Yeah, I love this.
The only movies that I didn't get off Amazon I got 3 from Best Buy. Best Buy's already got the Halloween season spooky deals rolling out with the newly designed slip covers with the holographic covers and whatnot.
Oh, you do get the holographic covers. Okay.
Yeah, they literally have holographic
Run for the
covers.
hollows, bro.
That actually was a joke.
They literally
I didn't realize
are holographic.
Ooh, shit! You got the notice the letter of authenticity with these things.
I
or
do.
what?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Has Beckett reviewed them yet?
I don't know what that means.
Oh, you know.
Hit him again. So yeah, they've got 10 or 12 movies out there at Best Buy, and they're pretty affordable. They're between $5 and $10 or something like that. And they're all older movies, but they're on Blu-ray. So I picked up The Conjuring, The Exorcist, and the Friday the 13th remake, none of which I had on Blu-ray.
Hang on. Oh, okay. I was about to say, how many copies of The Conjuring do you have?
I don't have. I didn't actually have any of those, so I got them.
You didn't have any copy of The Conjuring?
I know you have some Conjuring DVD.
I had a cheap DVD of it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you can't too little, too late with the cheap DVDs. You can't. We're not going to be watching any Conjuring on this piece of shit.
Anyways,
so thank you.
Wow, that's $50, which is 10
part of a jet ski.
It's a portion of a jet ski.
A propeller, Bob.
Oh my god! So I also got a couple more Carpenter movies. So I got Escape from LA, like I already mentioned, The Ward, and Ghosts of Mars.
Son Mars?
Mars?
Rob.
It's the worst movie we've ever reviewed.
You might as well just told me you picked up an 8-ball.
I want to watch it again.
I'm concerned for your health.
You don't want to watch it. I will play you the recording that probably said I never want to watch this movie.
I guarantee you our podcast episode is better than that movie.
Ghost of Mars.
And that's for me. I hate us.
Is that holographic, Bob?
No, it's just reg. That was a reg.
A reg cheap DVD, just a piece of shit. Bottom of the barrel.
I just bought a piece of shit. No big deal. Rob, go on and buy like a giant turd on a platter with a Blu-ray.
At least it could have caught it on fire, Bob.
I also got The Boogans, which is an early 80s movie. It's like a monster movie. Anyway, I got...
Wait, where'd you get that one from?
Amazon. All these are on Amazon except for the first
they're
three.
All Amazon. Yeah. Okay.
I got the Arrow release of Alice, Sweet Alice. And I also got a couple of Scream Factory joints that are both Roger Corman, like science fiction alien type movies called Galaxy of Terror and Forbidden World, which are both Steelbook. So that's what I got.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Good.
Great.
There you go.
Great. That's
well, great. I'm glad you got the holographic Conjuring. That sounds like a quality purchase, minus the Ghost of Mars Blu-ray purchase.
That's a heinous misfire in your in your stack.
Can't believe you admitted to that, man.
Yeah.
You should have just said this sci-fi
something
thriller
about ghosts and space.
Space Ghost Coast to Coast on Blu-ray.
That would have been
I would have given you the cred for the Steelbook case Blue Book Steel of Space Ghost.
Totally.
Ghosts on Mars is not Space Ghost.
Ooh, man.
I've been watching a lot of Carpenter, and I kind of wanted to watch it again. I don't know why. I can't explain it, but
yeah. Okay, so it is August 12th, and we're at 12 DVDs. Bob, you're averaging a purchase a day.
You are. That's true.
You have purchased a horror DVD every day this month.
What movie did you get that wasn't horror? I'm curious about that.
He got 3. He had 6 last week.
Oh, the sci-fi movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And what were the ones you had last week that weren't horror, Bob? You list them up. It doesn't matter. Actually, we already covered.
You don't remember? It was last week.
We'll go back.
Do you remember the jet ski, Bob?
No, I
Bob,
don't.
You realize you're hitting that jet ski, don't you? Like you realize you're like guaranteed to hit that jet ski.
No, it's not gonna happen.
I think each month is going to get higher because it was like 14 June, 19 July, and we're already at 12.
This week's gonna be a slow week. This segment is dumb. I don't like it.
Rob is very, very embarrassed.
We have a lot of fans that disagree with you, Bob.
I don't know that we do exactly. Let us know. Call in and sing a ditty and let us know if this segment is dumb or not. Yeah. That's the question for this week.
Bob's trying to get out of his intervention. Classic addict.
Mm-hmm.
Admitting is the
bargaining.
Yeah, bargaining, Bob.
That's not
call me bargaining.
That's a grief stage.
It is. He's in grief about his shame.
Whatever. So that's it. That's going to do it for us this week at Straight Chilling. We're going to be back next week with a brand new show. We're going to be talking about a little movie that was chosen by our lovely Patreon supporter, Darren. The movie is going to be Frailty. So tune in next week.
Yeah.
I guess until then, please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. It's an easy way to support the show. It helps people find us that don't know we exist already. You can find us on Twitter at STR8_chilling. We're on Instagram at Straight Chilling Podcast. You can send us an email through our website, straightchillingpodcast.com. If you want to join us on our Slack channel, just let me know on any one of our social media platforms, and I can send you a link to do that. If you don't know what the hell a Slack channel is, it's exactly like Discord, which I think people use sometimes.
It's precisely like MSN Messenger.
Yes. It's like AIM.
Damn.
It's like AIM. Set your away messages.
It's a direct way you can talk to us.
Yep.
Exactly like that.
We talk about the movie of the week. We talk about TV shows, music. We talk about horror news, all kinds of stuff. That's it, I guess. Yeah, Twitch. Justin, you're playing Twitch like now? right? You're about
we had.
you're about to play Switch
Obviously
right
not playing on Monday night anymore since we're recording right now.
Yeah.
So I guess that will be delayed. I probably could pick it up Tuesday night, I think. Keep an eye out. I always post on Instagram. That's and Facebook. But Instagram will let you know at least like 12 to 24 hours ahead of time when I'll be playing. Probably Tuesday night now, but keep an eye out. Be playing some of that Hello Neighbor. Try and wrap it up maybe.
Sweet deal. Cool. Yeah, I think that's everything. So until next week, as always, everybody please keep chilling.